Yeah, so I love this display. You kind of gave a description of it in Anime NYC, but I can actually get like the physical and visual representation, and I think getting into Gundam can be definitely intimidating for somebody new.
Absolutely.
And Gundam is so worldwide that, you know, do you mind giving us what the heck, how does this all work?
For sure. So this is my favorite display. I'm glad that we bring it to our Gundam bases. We had it at a toy fair. It's so much fun. So it just shows, you know, you hear all grades like master grade, perfect grade, SD, and you're like, what does all this mean? What are the scalings and stuff like that? And so this just perfectly represents it. So you're starting at the bottom, you have your SD, your kind of super deformed chibi style. It's kind of like, you know, it's not really in any kind of scale. It's just kind of like your fun, you know, kind of super deformed look. Then you get up the next scale. The next three scales are all 1/144 scales. So you have your entry grade, your high grade, and your real grade. So the entry grade is meant to be like your first model kit, or if you're at a seasoned model build and you want to get someone in the hobby, or you have a niece, nephew, son, daughter, you know, grandchild, that's what you would get them. It's something that's meant to be put together in like 15 minutes to like 40 minutes, depending on your skill level. You get those at like Target and Walmart, super duper easy to put together. Man. The next grade is our high grade. That's the most diverse line. That's the line that has the most mobile suits. It's the most affordable. They're usually in like the teens to the low to mid 20s. That's the one that has the most mobile suits. So that's the one that a lot of people are the collectors of, because it's relatively inexpensive and it has the most mobile suits. The one behind it is the real grade, which is very popular because the mechanics and the flexibility and the architecture is very similar to the master grade, which everybody loves, but they've shrunk it to that 1/44 scale so that if you have a ton of high grades, your real grades will be able to slot right in there with your Zaku's and your Strike Freedoms, everything else you have. But as you can tell from it, it's a lot more detailed.
You can, up close, you can immediately tell the detail change and just the overall complexity of that one compared to the high grade.
Right, it's a lot more complex. The next one up is the master grade. It's the 1/100th. Most people, they would consider that their favorite grade. I mean, everyone's got their own, you know, favorite grade, but most people will say master grade is their favorite. Those get a little more pricey, so depending on what you have, you know, they can start anywhere in like the 40s, and some of them will go all the way up until over $100, just depending on the mobile suit. This is the RX-78, but there are mobile suits that are significantly larger than the RX-78, and so some of those will be more expensive. After the master grade becomes the perfect grade. So if you are a Gunpla, you know, like a massive Gunpla fan, that's kind of like the pinnacle. So Adam Savage did a great build on Tested.com to where the first Gundam he ever built was the perfect grade RX-78 Unleashed.
Like, how difficult is that for your first build, would you say? Like, if someone with no building construction knowledge, like, is this just you recommend not to do that?
You definitely shouldn't be your first build. So the way it works is, they're not necessarily more difficult. They're just more pieces, and they can be smaller, more intricate pieces. So you definitely don't want to start up here. You definitely want to start down in this area, probably high grade, entry grade. You know, you can start entry grade, but you'd be fine with a high grade. What I like to do, it's really good for like your mental health. What I like to do is I like to, you know, put on a movie or something, get out a kit, and it's just the focus of it really makes you kind of zen out, and like it's a really kind of like positive experience. You're just focused, you're enjoying, you're in the moment, and you just kind of like, it's just kind of like mellow. It's real mellow until you drop a clear piece on the ground. It goes under your couch, and you can't find it. And you're like, son of a.
Oh my goodness.
And then last but not least is the mega size. The mega size is basically a giant high grade. It doesn't have the complexity of like the perfect grade, master grade, or real grade. It's just meant to be kind of like a real good, like imposing, you know, model kit. There's not a ton of mega size. We have the RX-78, we have a Zaku, and a handful of others, a Unicorn. But yeah, so the most prolific one is definitely the high grade. Master grade and perfect grade are kind of like that's where like the hardcore Gunpla builders kind of live.
Interesting. So where does the mega size go in terms of difficulty? Is it easier than a perfect grade?
Yeah. So the mega size is going to be about as difficult as the high grade.
Oh, really? So it just looks big.
So it just looks big. So it'll be more complicated than the high grade in some respects because it's bigger. But because of its size, it almost becomes easier because, like, I have these big sausage hands, and so sometimes when you get in like the real small pieces, I have to kind of really focus to make sure I'm not dropping something. On the mega size, all the pieces are big, so I'm like, oh yeah, this is easy. It's kind of like the difference between like regular Legos and like Duplo.
Interesting. So I want to ask about like maybe just price point.
Sure.
So entry, of course, very relatively cheap.
Yeah, so the entry grades are about $10.
Okay.
You can get those at around. You can get those usually at like Target, Walmart, of course Amazon. You get pretty much everything at Amazon nowadays.
For real.
Hobby Lobby, specialty retailers. The high grades, like I said, are usually teens to low mid-20s.
Okay.
Real grades really vary a lot, just because of the size and complexity of them.
Yeah.
Usually like in the 30s to 50s. Master grades, same thing. It's got. The problem with mobile suits is not all mobile suits are the same size. So, for example, like in the high grade size, we have a high grade Penelope Gundam, which is bigger than the master grade, in between the master grade and the perfect grade, but it's a high grade. So something like that is significantly more expensive than the high grade RX-78.
That makes sense.
So there is a decent range. But if we're just talking just specifically these models, the RX-78, the SD I believe is $12. The entry grade is $10. The high grade, I believe, is $18. Real grade is somewhere in the 30s. The master grade is in the 60s. Sorry,
okay,
I don't know, 50s, 60s. I don't know exactly. The perfect grade is just under $300. It's $296. And mega size, we don't actually have it in stock. So I don't know the actual price on the mega size right now because it's been out of stock for such a while. But we took it out of the case for a while, and everyone was like, "Well, how does it scale with mega size?" So it's in there. There's been a lot of love for mega size lately, so I could see it. I
can actually see like just kind of how it's set up. I can see mega size coming back.
Yeah.
But really, like the difficulty and price level when you go from like casual build to just coming into the hobby a little bit. Like really, when it comes to like master and perfect, that's where.
Yeah,
that's kind of like the big jump is there.
Yeah, and I would say even if you've never built a model before, as an adult, if you've done Lego or anything complex, you could do a master grade and below.
Okay.
You could do a perfect grade, but
it's tough. Let's be honest, it's tough.
It's tough and it's expensive.
Yeah,
you don't want to spend because you want to wait until you like doing it before you make that kind of an investment. So do something that's like $10, $20, $30. If you love it, then you can invest. I would hate for you to invest $300 in a perfect grade because you want to do the perfect grade first, and then get like 10 minutes into it and hate it.
Exactly.
Just because it's a time commitment too. So, these first couple, the SD, the entry grade, and the high grade, those are the things you're going to build in less than an hour.
Yep.
The real grade, depending on like how fine you're going to be with like filing down your nub lines, what kind of like post work you're going to do, you can build that, in the course of watching a movie. The master grade, that'll take you, a couple hours. You should take your time with something like that. Perfect grade, most people do it in like sections. They'll do like a leg. They'll take like a couple sections to do a leg, a couple sections to do the other leg. Don't get me wrong. There are some people who build incredibly fast.
It's just a different league, though.
Oh yeah, it's a totally different league. We have people that have to build like our samples. They have to build like a perfect grade. I saw one guy build this perfect grade in a day, like while he was at work working.
Oh my goodness.
Like so, he's answering emails and he's got a box. The beauty of these is there's no paint, no glue required. They have amazing colored instructions. But what some people do is like once you become like a master, like Xavier at our work, he'll literally take the top of the box off and just cut it all the pieces into the box. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh my goodness.
You're a madman.
That's like that's probably like my biggest to not do tip.
No.
Open it
yeah,
all.
and I'm the kind of guy, I have the colored instructions out, and I'll clip the piece, and I'll put it on there, and I'm like,
one at a time.
I'm like the slowest builder in the world because I'm so careful.
Oh my goodness.
I actually have the perfect grade on my desk at work. It's been on my desk for like 10 months, and I haven't built it.
That's awesome.
I'm scared.
So one more question about these.
Sure.
These are they have an inch value above them, but really these come in a scale value.
Correct.
Can you give us the quick scale value? Because I feel like that could be another just confusing thing as well.
Sure, absolutely. So Super Deformed doesn't really have a scale, just because
they're kind of the cute chibi thing.
Yeah, it's meant to be.
Yeah.
So the entry grade, the high grade, and the real grade are all 1/144 scale. The master grade is 1/100 scale. The perfect grade is 1/60th scale, and I'm not sure if the mega size actually has a scale. It probably does. I'm sure the comments will let me know what the mega size scale is. If I were to guess, it's probably somewhere like 1/40th or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay, awesome. No, that's super informative. I think a lot of people might not know that entry, high, and real grade are really the same size figure. just a little bit more difficult as you go.
Right.
And then like real grade and master grade are kind of the same-ish, just a little bit bigger.
Yeah. So
And then perfect is just like
its own
the
thing.
crazy thing. Yeah.
And what's really cool is if you see our Gundam statues or even our Tamashii statues, the statues aren't from the anime. Usually they're from like the figures.
Yeah.
So it's cool. So you'll see like the joints and stuff like that. So we have our Gundam base RX-78 statue in there, and it's based off of like the real grade Gundam base RX-78. So
Very awesome. Awesome.
fun stuff.
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
Of course.
That was a great description. Do you have any last minute tips, tricks? What's your big tip
absolutely.
on Gundam?
So I mean, when it comes to model kits, like don't be afraid. Like I never built a model kit when I came to Bandai 5 years ago. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so I started with the Star Wars model kits.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with it, and it was so much fun. So I built all the Star Wars model kits, all the figures, all the vehicles. I built Gunpla. I love the RX-78, so I built everything in this case except for the last two. And like I said, I have the perfect grade on my desk. I've just been kind of intimidated.
Yeah.
But like literally every day at my desk, people walk by and they're like, "Just do it. It's not harder. It's just
One of these days.
just more pieces." And so next time I have a significant amount of time off, I'll do it. So if you're home and you're watching, just get a kit, put it together, get something on the low end. I don't want you to spend a bunch of money. You don't know what you love yet. So go to Hobby Lobby or Amazon or Target or something. Pick up a kit for like $10 or $15 or something
Which
like
is
that.
very affordable.
Yeah, take it home. It's going to give you some entertainment, and at the end you'll have a cool thing to put on there. You'll be shocked at how articulated it is, how much you can do with it, and then at the end of the day, it's just a cool piece on your shelf.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much, man.
Welcome.
Of course, every time. Thank you.